Hi there, welcome to the Building Your Tiny House Dream video tutorial series. I'm Chris, I run a company called Tiny Industrial, and along with the book of the same title, I'll be showing you how to build this exact house. So follow along, I'll be releasing a new video every Wednesday, and hit subscribe so you don't miss a single episode. Hey, alright, so this week we are going to be putting the sheets of aluminum up top. I'll be giving you a little bit of advice and pointers in terms of what to do, what not to do, what to look out for, and so forth. We're not attaching them yet, but we've got all four walls up, front, back, and both sides. And so it's time to drape these sheets across, make sure that we're getting the overlaps right, and make sure that we're arranging them properly on top of each other. And that's it. That's what we're going to be doing today. So follow along, just like Donna always does. Thank you so much for all your comments, Donna. And drop suggestions, comments into the box below. Also, make sure you hit subscribe. Here we go. Everything lines up reasonably well. Cutoffs are good. You can see what that's going to look like. These little gaps in here are all going to get filled in, so don't worry about any of that yet. Yeah, I think what we're going to do is we're going to add the next sheet. So the reason you want to do this from the back towards the front is that the next sheet is going to lie on top of this sheet. Right? We're not attaching anything yet. But when it lies on top of that sheet, and the wind and the rain and everything is going to be mostly coming from that end, the other end, you don't want to have this tail sheet to lie on top of it, because it creates a place for the rain to sort of get in versus a place for the rain to simply like rain and wind to wash over. You don't want anything that's going to create a barrier or a potential entry point, especially given that most of the really strong winds and moisture and things like that are going to come from the front. Now, if it's just parked, it doesn't matter. Like if this were just going to sit in the backyard, it wouldn't matter that you do the back first. And in the end, you could do it the other way around and probably be fine. But given the choice and the option that we obviously have here, we'll start at the back and move towards the front. Incidentally, if you're going to have somebody come in and help you with any of this, think about having somebody come in and help you with the roof, because it's one of the harder things to do just by yourself, because these sheets of aluminum are a little bit hard and unwieldy. You don't want to dent them, crease them, drop them. You don't want to cut your hands. All of those reasons make this kind of more of a two-person job. I don't have that luxury at the moment, because most of the people from my previous 9-to-5 office life are in the office right now, so I don't have that luxury. So anyway, I'm going to move, it's fine, it works. I'm going to move the second sheet into place. You'll kind of like see that happening through here. Okay, nothing too terrible about that. What you want to check with the second sheet is on the outside. You'll be able to better see how much overlap you have. So I'm just going to check that. Again, this is all preliminary, but I want to get a rough feel for where everything's going to go before we get serious about mounting stuff in place. So third sheet will go on. I should probably change the camera position for that though, just so you get a different vantage point. aluminum sheets are not heavy at all. This is a 0.32 gauge of aluminum, which is about as thin as I would suggest going. My last Gypsy Wagon build had a 0.40, which is an 18 gauge, I believe, on it. That was thicker, possibly more preferable. This is the 32 that I was able to acquire this time around. The pricing on this is a little bit lower, given that it's thinner. A little bit easier to handle in that sense because it's lighter, but all three sheets together probably barely weigh, I don't know, what it's probably, I'm gonna say maybe 20 pounds, 25 pounds a sheet. So the entire roof is well under 100 pounds. So that's a benefit. But we've got the three sheets now, they're overlapping. Beautiful, that's what we want. Putting them up to try not to like slide it across the other one. I might have done that a little bit. You'll invariably wind up scratching it, and as much as you can keep the exterior surface clean and uniform, the better. The aluminum is also really sensitive to like skin oils, fingerprints, any of that stuff is going to leave a mark. I was building the other Gypsy Wagon in the summer, and you know, my leg touched the roof at various points, and I was wearing shorts, and just the sweat and the salt and the sweat like left these marks in the aluminum. So it's a very sensitive material. Anyway, keep that in mind so as to try to avoid it. That's about it. Now I'm going to go around the exterior, try to get everything kind of, make sure that the overlaps are uniform, make sure that we have enough roofing material coming up in the front. We're going to want to have about like a ½ inch overlap. You'll see in a moment why. Yeah, make sure that it comes down onto the 2x6s properly, where the angle is. And then we'll start thinking about snapping those chalk lines, getting this all put in place. Okay, now we're up on the scaffolding. I've double checked everything, and everything still lines up pretty accurately. So we're ready to put that second hole, like I said, through the two panels over here. It's where the back panel and middle panel overlap, and then we're going to do the same thing for the front. So let me give you a little better vantage point here. What we're going to want to do first is we're going to want to run a chalk line along all of these roofing beams. Well, not so much the ones on the either end, but the 5 that are in between. Middle, 2 on the sides of the middle, and then the 2 on the sides of that. So I'm going to snap those chalk lines, and then that will indicate where we need to drill through the metal plates. So, okay, now we've got some chalk lines up there. Snap those by doing a little nail in the end of one end of the 2x4, pulling the string tight across, and then lining it up with the other end of the 2x4, making sure it's nice and tight, that it's not like drooping, sagging, and then just snapping the line. So this is where the 2x4s run. So that makes life a lot easier, and now we can put the hole up into the section that we were talking about before. And then we're going to do one more over here. So 2 more holes, 2 more screws. And at that point, yeah, we're going to slide these front ones back a little bit, and we're going to worry about attaching this back piece first. We're going to bring the second one on. And, you know, we got to glue and silicone and you know, do all that stuff underneath. So yeah, so here we go. Just a little perilous up here.
know what? I'm gonna go get my gloves because as soon as I touch this roof, it's gonna leave big handprints on it. The other advantage of having the lines on here is that you know that you can put some weight right here because that's where the beam is versus, you know, putting pressure here. You're gonna wind up denting the roof that way. We don't wanna do that. So anyway, let me go get my gloves. With the roof panels in place, we can attach them shortly, but that's gonna conclude this week's episode.